Hi Global R&D Packaging Community. I'm Nestor Garcia. I'll give you the basic training to understand how to use and apply the packaging plant trial protocols. This document has been developed to standardize ways of working globally in order to be consistent in the way we test and qualify packaging materials. A group of global and regional experts worked together to develop this protocol. The document has been approved by Global Packaging Leadership Team and by the Global Supply Chain Team as well. The principles of this document are aligned with all crew towers, as well as the format and the overall approach. You will learn more about these principles as we go through the video. The document will assist you on the risk assessment process in order to determine the testing plan. The risk assessment is a 3-step process. Step 1 being the commercial risk assessment, Step 2 technical risk, and Step 3 is to combine risk and determine the total risk of the project. Will be used to select the appropriate testing protocol for the lead factory. It's important to understand the lead factory approach and how the risk will evolve. As knowledge and success is gained in the lead factory, the risk is expected to decrease for subsequent trials, so we can leverage the learnings to reassess the risk. Let's go through the whole risk assessment process together. Step 1. Commercial risk assessment. To determine the risk level, you need to take into account 3 aspects. Number 1. How likely is the consumer to detect the change? Number 2. The volume impacted. And number 3. The brand tiering of the product that is being impacted by the change. You will find a list of the core market products in the appendix. Once you have defined your commercial risk, you are ready to move to the next step. Technical risk. Technical risk is a combination of the packaging risk and the manufacturing risk. Therefore, the process is broken down into 2 steps. Steps 2A and 2B. Step 2A. Packaging risk assessment. To determine the packaging risk, you need to understand how complex and different is your new material compared with your existing material. You will have the 3 buckets of risk, low, medium, and high. Let's go through each of them in more detail. Low risk, it's only about manual packing, so no machine assembly packaging materials. A manual erected carton is a typical example. In the medium risk bucket, you will find standard specs. By definition, standard spec is any material that has machine interaction but no added value of functionality. For example, a commodity film used for a standard flow pack application. For more details, click on Read Definition. Standard specs can change for a like-for-like equivalent, so from base material A to base material B. Another example is a moderate down gauge, as long as the type of material, the nature, and the structure remain the same. High risk is a significant change of the spec. For example, moving from duplex to monoweb, or moving from solid to a cavitated film. As you will notice, the type of material and the structure are changing. Any high functional spec is considered high risk, regardless of the type of change, due to the added value they provide. For example, value-added flow pack or snack and seal. Step 2B, manufacturing risk. To determine the risk, you need to take into account 3 aspects. Number 1, materials handle, to understand the impact of the material in the overall manufacturing process. Number 2, the finished package, to understand how the new material will impact the bundle and the finished product. And number 3 is the line processing, to understand if the new material impacts line efficiency, or if any changes, adjustments have to be made on the machine in order to run the new material. Step 2C. Net technical risk. As you have determined the packaging and the manufacturing risk, you are ready to combine them in order to define your net technical risk. To combine risk, you need to use this matrix on this page. Enter your packaging risk on the y-axis and your manufacturing risk on the x-axis, and you will find the box when they intersect. For example, high packaging risk combined with medium manufacturing risk will give you high net technical risk. 3. Aggregate risk. Once your technical risk is defined, you need to combine with the commercial risk to obtain the aggregate risk of the project. Using the matrix available in step 3, the aggregate risk will be the box where the net technical risk and the commercial risk meet. The aggregate risk is the final risk of the project and the one to be used to determine your testing protocol. Guidelines to determine the planned trial plan. Let's start with the low risk situation. The approach for the low risk is to go directly to first production without R&D support. After 50 shifts of 3 months of production, the factory will review the performance of the material and communicate anything to R&D. Medium risk is a 2-step qualification. Step 1. Industrial trial. A guideline is provided for the duration of this trial. R&D will support the first 3 hours or until stable conditions are reached. The purpose of this trial is to evaluate the ability to run and compare versus the reference point. The production can be released to market if the success criteria are met. Success criteria include line KPIs and quality standards of the product. Step 2 is a 3-shift industrial validation. The purpose of this trial is to demonstrate the ability to run over an extended period of time. The production can be released to market as long as the success criteria are met. High-risk approach is a 3-step qualification. In this situation, you will find one additional step at the beginning of the qualification process. Step 0 is a 1-hour proof of principle trial led by R&D. This trial is to assess how the new material performs in the line and to understand if any machine adjustments or modifications are required. This proof of principle trial is followed by steps 1 and 2, similar to the medium risk profile. Remember, this trial plan is for the lead factory. Once the lead factory has been successfully qualified, you can revisit your trial plan with a lower risk profile. The full document is available on the Crew Internet, and it's also available on the One Technical Toolkit. Look for the packaging page. As part of the rollout of the protocol, several Q&A sessions will be organized to help you with any questions. Please sign in for one of these sessions.